Sanbonani, welcome to another beautiful episode that we're about to have. I hope ukuthi nigrande emakhaya lapho nikhona, wherever you are in the world, wherever you're watching from, wherever you're streaming from, please do let me know where you're coming from, so I can know where to send my blessings and my positive energy too. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and be with me in this precious time that we have together. Today, I want us to talk about a topic that is hardly ever spoken about. A lot of people don't really delve into it because it affects a whole lot of our lives, and I think a lot of us have been guilty of it, especially as men. I know I've definitely been guilty of it at a point in life, and I'm not innocent to it, but it affects us all, and it affects us in our relationships, as men and women on both ends, because things have changed. We're not living in an age where women are like our mothers, and living in the old school days. Things have really changed in this life. Please don't forget to subscribe and follow, and please also share to your friends and so forth. And let's move the following button and let's subscribe, please. The topic for today that I'd like us to hit up is emotional infidelity. How do you feel about it? What's your take on it? What's your feeling around it? And a lot of people have asked me, and someone in particular asked me to speak about this, and I want to speak about this. I want us to have this conversation. I wish I had a couple more men that were present and available to be able to take this topic and run with it with us, but let's run and let's speak on what we know and what we've heard. Emotional infidelity is, having conversations, having topics that you wouldn't have, or having communication electronically, which you normally under normal circumstances wouldn't have if your partner was next to you. And that's where a lot of the issues are coming in, is that we're having a lot of this happen, and it's in wrong settings, and a lot of it is taking place behind closed doors. We're having conversation on WhatsApp, we're having conversations on emails, but if your partner was to read that, would you be able to have this conversation still with your partner? And I think a lot of us, the answer is no, because I think cheating needs to be defined again. And as a grown man, I've had to then reestablish it in my own head that cheating might not just be the physical element of touching someone, kissing someone, having sexual contact with someone. It also is a conversation that you cannot have in front of your partner. It's also deeds that are done without your partner's knowledge. If I've always lived by this, theory in question, if my partner was here, would I do this? And if no is the answer, I've always taught myself to say, walk away from it. And whenever I found myself in that situation, I think one of the first things that comes up is falling prey to your own desires, falling prey to the desires of that moment. It's a heated moment, it's wrong, the consequences that come with it, how many people will be hurt with it. But the fact that it's not physical, there's something in the male brain that says, I'm not cheating because it is not physical, and that's not true. It is cheating because if I'm saying certain things in the absence of a partner, and I would not be able to say them in her presence, then it is cheating, And cheating isn't necessarily physical. It doesn't need to be a physical stance, it doesn't need to be a physical act. And that's where a lot of people get it wrong, is that I'm on these porn websites, I'm on these dating websites, I'm on these whatever websites, and I'm only talking to these people. I'm only saying these things there because it's not true. I know it's not true. I've got a woman and I'm happy with my woman. I've never slept with anyone in my marriage. I have a friend who's going through counseling, and it's amazing the things that he's saying that he'd never ever fathomed himself ever saying. Like, the fact that I was able to look at a woman twice who's not my wife and in my heart desire her is cheating. And I never thought I would ever hear him say that. And he says, looking at her is all right. It's natural. We all look and it's what you do with what you've looked at and how you look at what you've just looked at. And that's important too. It carves out what follows suit from there on, because what usually happens is you look, it pushes you to the next level, and then you want, and then as soon as you want, you touch, and as soon as you touch, you're in the trap. And the problem is it becomes cyclic. As soon as you're in that trap, it becomes a cycle, and you keep on going and you keep on going. And a lot of people do not have the willpower to pull themselves out. That's why we have such high rates of addiction in our country. A lot of people are addicted to drugs. A lot of people are addicted to drugs. A lot of men are addicted to to these type of things, and we're finding it extremely difficult in society, you know, to be able to pull this out. People are unable to pull um, themselves out of those sticky situations, because, and I call it sticky because that's what it creates for people that are in your family. They unfortunately are found in that situation that they didn't put themselves in. They didn't register themselves for that course. But unfortunately, they signed up for it and they're going in hard for it. And unfortunately, up until you're able to pull yourself out of it, these people are stuck in there. And they are stuck in there with you, the nine yards. They have to go the whole 9 yards with you. And irregardless whether you like it or not, these people are there. Unfortunately, these people are there, and they've got to walk the 9 yards with you. They've got to be able to do everything with you. And it's unfair. It's incredibly unfair for them, because they didn't choose for you to have to take drugs. They didn't choose for you to walk down this road. They didn't choose all these things. Unfortunately, they're flung into it, and they have no choice. They frankly have no choice. They have to walk this addiction with you. And that's the one thing that I hate about addiction, is that it doesn't only affect the addicted being, it also affects their kids, their family, their loved ones. And I can proudly say that the ability to be able to come out and call myself out, because I'm mentioning this because of myself as well, my truest actions as well. It is a topic as well that I've been involved in, and it felt at the time, and I'm speaking from personal experience, at the time it felt like it is not cheating, because I haven't kissed anyone, I haven't touched anyone, I haven't even met up with anyone. So I haven't spent the finances that are in the house to go meet them. I haven't taken them out on lunch. I haven't, we haven't had dinner. We haven't had anything. I haven't had sex with them. I haven't had physical sex with them. I haven't, all these things I haven't done. But it's the time, the effort, and the energy that's invested in these conversations. It's the things said in those conversations that are deleted and done away with. And I think a lot of people have created so much pain and so much hurt and destroyed so many beautiful things because of that. And the reason why I want to have this conversation is because of that, because I believe that a lot of people can do a lot of good, and if we believe in ourselves and we work on ourselves, I believe we're able to become the best lovers ever. And I always like to share thoughts and share opinions with like-minded people. So um, have asked for opinions of other men who might have gone through similar situations and might have experienced this, or might not have experienced it, but have their own opinions on how this would work. And I'd like you to give me an opportunity to bring them on and for us to hear what other men have gone through or might have experienced. So I've got a great man joining us. We just so happen to share the same name, but he's greater than what I am. And I would like to ask him just just to share a little bit of his great mind. Um, the topic for today is emotional infidelity. All right. So what that is, just basically is the cheating on a level that isn't physical. So you having conversations with a woman, you're already in a relationship, as one dealer, and you have a partner, and you're having conversations with someone else that are inappropriate that you wouldn't have with or in front of your woman. What's your take on that? What creates that? What pushes that narrative? What gets guys there? Because the majority of people that I've spoken to is majority is men, and men men are struggling with this. What would you say the greatest cause is when it comes to that?
Oh, okay, Mawanza. Yeah. Let me greet everyone on our show. As njengoba presenter saying dalulile wandile kwamahlangu. Okay, with regards to that, mfethu, mina my thought about it, I guess, ukunganeliseki komuntu nokungakwazi mhlawumbe to get over my habits wakudala. You know, uba umjitha, knowing very well ukuthi abantu besimama they have a soft spot for you, yabo, from ukukhula kwakho nje, and then you are being able to get away with a lot of things when it comes to such. That thing catches up with you at a later stage. Noma usukhulile and committed to one woman, but you know that old habit, ifana njengesibhoko into ephila kuwe mfethu, you need to fight it, yabo. It always comes back time and again, time and again, time and again. You hunt it down, and then if you're not strong enough psychologically and emotionally, you will fall into the trap, and it manifests. You end up acting upon it. Uyayenza leyo nto leyo. So I guess it's something etshalwayo emntwini akhula naye bakuyena, and then mhlawumbe noma esekhulile engakwazi ukuremova the root of that particular thing, yabo. Akhona amajita akhulile, in a sense that they are committed to their partners. But now, if the root of lento kade beyiyo before befinyelela kule sigaba abakusona, it's not properly removed, leyo nto leyo Joy izola pick up futhi ibuye again in the long run. That's how I say it.
100%, and I fully agree with you that it can get to that. So my next question is: have you ever experienced it personally? Have you done that? Are you Do you have personal experience with it? And if it's too personal for you to answer, please do say. We've got an audience as well. I just wanted to say to you, Wanile, um, we've got an international audience. We've got guys from abroad that probably don't understand our language. If I can ask you just to use the English language for them as well, for the viewers that are viewing us from across the great oceans. Do you have personal experience with communicating with someone else, apart from your partner? Have you ever had such an experience?
No, honestly, so I haven't. No, I
Okay.
haven't.
Okay. Have you experienced it from a partner? Um, your partner doing it to you? Have you ever gone through that type of a pain and that type of an experience?
I could say back then in high school, I have experienced such a thing. Not now, but
Okay.
back then, probably a decade and 5 years ago, 15 years ago. Yeah, I have
Okay.
actually. You know,
Okay. And what emotions did it bring to you? Did it scar you in any way? Did it make you feel less of yourself? Did it create traumas in you that forced you or pushed you to not trusting women, not putting yourself out there anymore? Did it do anything in particular at the point in time or even after that?
uh, bro, that thing, honestly speaking, one delay it has brought a scar, honestly, on my heart, because now I felt as if like maybe as a guy I'm not enough. You know, especially if your
Yeah.
woman does it to you with someone who's a bit higher in caliber than you. You know, you end up
Oh,
doubting
yes.
yourself as a guy, and you check yourself out, man, 360 degrees just to see if
Yes.
wrong with me, bruh. Am I not enough for her or something? You know.
Yes.
So yeah, it has kind of like brought trauma to me, and but I got over it.
100%. What would you, advise brothers out there who are going through the difficulty of um, recuperating themselves or getting themselves out of that space where they've gone through this infidelity and they now have it in their relationship. What is your advice to them, and how do you foresee um, someone fixing that or getting out of such a situation? What would you say to me if I was in that situation currently? How do I fix that in my relationship?
Okay, my advice to guys out there with regards to what you've just said, I'll just reiterate the words I've used earlier on to say it is important to deal with your old habits and to get rid of the first thing you need to identify the root core of what has made you to be like that, to be that monster, you know, not being satisfied, not having satisfaction of a particular thing. So you must be able to identify that thing, remove the root core of it, so that you may be able to move forward and be satisfied with what you have. Because the problem here, looking at it from different perspective, it's a matter of being satisfied with what you have, you know, because immediately when you start to have too many eyes, it's when you're starting to bring in the negative vibe towards what you have. So to guys out there, it is something that is doable. You can fight that demon, you can overcome it, eh? Although it's not easy because it's a habit and you need to remove the root of that habit from your personality.
Geez, thank you so much for that. And I want to personally ask you, because I know that you're extremely strong in your religious base and you're extremely powerful in the space that you operate in. Do you think it is a physical thing? It's a I see, I want, or is there a spiritual connection to it? Is there something deeper than what we see? Is it something deeper than what we think that is driving people down this journey? Is it just I see, I want, I get? Is it beyond the lust of nature, or is there more to it?
Okay, if I could look at it from a spiritual perspective, Mkhudlana, I could
Yeah.
say it is a spiritual thing because there are thousands and thousands of demons people are not aware of that are operating in the spiritual realm, which needs people so that they may manifest, you know. But coming back to looking at it from also a different perspective, psychologically, I think it's something that it's troubling a lot of guys psychologically, because you think, you see, and you want. You know, those three elements you must always take into consideration. You think about it, you see it, you visualize it, and then you want it. You know? So it does have a spiritual impact that is driving it to come into pass.
Wow, I'm glad that you and I see it eye to eye, because I really do understand that everything that happens is not only on the physical level that we have ever come across. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we go through as men, which is beyond the physical point. I mean, I'm thinking back to traumas that I remember as a child that still affect me till today. And a lot of them are things that could have been dealt with. But unfortunately, because in our culture in South Africa, we have this notion that, we have a saying, isiZulu, indoda ayikhali, and which simply
Hmm.
means a man doesn't
Hmm.
cry. And this has blocked people from expressing their truest emotions, and a lot of men have died inside. And I think that a lot of people um, have 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 had emotional traumas that we could have done away with if we changed the narrative in our country and in our cultures. And I'm happy that you are a very cultural man, and I know that taking it back to your culture, you being part of the Ndebele clan, I know that the Ndebele clan is very hell bent on strength. A man must be a man, and a man must be strong and tough. And we then need to teach this to our cultures and our grown and our elders, that it is okay for a man to be human. It is okay for men to be human. And once man has made a mistake and he comes back and he fixes himself in his human state,
Mhm.
how do we accept him back as the community, as a family, as people? And that is incredibly important for us as a people because I believe that we might end up losing a lot of wealth that is sitting inside of one dealer because he's done one or two things that were, out of character. So I urge us as men, as Black South African men, to walk that journey, to walk that journey with each other and call each other out. If I see you putting your hand on your wife, I should be able to call you out. I should call you out. I should be able to stop that from happening instantly, and I should be able to call you out. And that's what I believe that we should be doing is calling each other out as brothers as well. And I'm truly blessed to have brothers like you, and brothers who are steadfast in their thinking, who are innovative in their mindset and carry forth a spirit of resilience at all times. Um, what about where you come from? Would you change about within that space? For me personally, what I would change is the emotional element that a man doesn't cry, that a man doesn't feel, a man must just be a rock and he must just be strong. What would you say you would love to see your culture or your clan changing?
The mindset, I guess, the mindset from the teachings. Uh, yeah, I could say the mindset, because at the end of the day, the very same kind of mindset that has been implanted in young males are the very same things that leads them to having such a thing that you've just spoken about, the emotional mindset, the element of emotion that a man does not cry. But instead, all of those things, looking at them from different perspective, if they could be dealt with properly, a guy has to be taught how to love from an early stage, and a guy has
Yeah,
to be taught how to commit to only one woman from an early stage. Then we won't be having things like gender-based violence, cheating unnecessarily, not getting satisfaction from one woman. All of those things are results of the incorrect teaching a young man received from early childhood.
I fully agree with that. I think that the only way GBV will
Answer.
end in this country. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Okay, 100%. What I'm saying to you is that I believe that the only way that GBV will ever end in our country is if we as men stand up and end it. We need to take a stand as men in this country and say enough. And the next guy that puts a hand on a woman, that does anything to a woman, he's got us to deal with. And I think that's the only way that GBV will end is if men say no more. It's us
Hmm.
who are beating our women. It's us who are killing our sisters, and it's us who can stop this and stop other men from doing it. I'd like us to welcome a dear brother of mine, Babu Teku Zolani. Welcome, King. Welcome. I wonder if you can hear us. Fokateki. Okay. All right. Maybe he's struggling with a bit of network. Can you hear us? Can you hear us? I think he's struggling with a bit of network there, but we'll keep on trying him. So, in closing, what is your final message that you would like to give out? If this was an opportunity for you to address the nation of men in our country, what is your message to the men in South Africa?
Let me think. Okay, first thing, it's very simple. Let me take it Bible. Probably it's gonna sound a bit straightforward. Wandi, Mgulu, Mr. Vavase, can you hear me?
definitely hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I think we're all going through load shedding. It's a beautiful country that we live in, and that's there's a beautiful concept called load shedding, and that's why we're struggling in hearing each other all throughout. A beautiful country indeed that we live in. Wandile, I think we've lost him, but as I said, beautiful country. We're all suffering with load shedding, but thank you for so much for your insights. Um, as he was just trying to wrap up there, the last stint of, or the last sentence of what he was actually going to say to the men of South Africa. I thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that we're able to change. I hope that I'm able to change. I hope that you're able to change, and that our brothers are able to change. Even our sisters who are struggling with this. Let's take a decision and let's stick to it. Let's commit to the people we love, and let's stick to the decisions we've made of staying there. Whenever temptation comes up, let us be strong enough to be able to walk past it. It won't stop, but we can. We definitely can stop. Please remember to like and subscribe and follow. For consultations, the number is there on the screen. Please send a voice note. It makes it easier for us to be able to get back to you as quick as possible. I personally listen to them and I personally answer them to make sure that I understand fully when you do come around. When you do make time and book an appointment, I then personally have that information. Please don't hesitate to follow me on any of the socials there on your screen. Please do hit me up, and please do suggest other topics that you'd like us to discuss, because the purpose and the point of this space and this platform is to keep you informed and assist you in whatever you're going through. My name is Wandila Wawadla Umkabateli. Umkabateli Link is a space where we link up and we discuss and we talk. 100%. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and your evening. God bless.